Jeff Goldblum,
Yes.
said he learned so much playing the piano in a bar as a teenager, and he will not be donating his $40 million to his 2 sons so that they can be self-reliant.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on that?
It's interesting, you know, because I do always think about like, well, so they say, like, you know, generations change a lot, right? You have one generation that like goes to war. So they're like hard men, you know, but then they win a war and then they have kids. So those kids actually grow up kind of soft. You know, their parents are like the hardest people ever. Their kids grow up kind of soft. Then these soft kids grow up and the world is kind of soft and falls back into war. And then the next generation has to go to war again. So you have another tough generation, you know, and it's really hard to enforce that, like enforce this toughness, you know, like I asked Adam Carolla about that actually when we talked to him on the podcast, because he was like, yeah, like life was so hard for me. Like I learned so much from that. And I'm like, how do you impose that on your kids? Like you're raising rich children, you know? And he's like, look, I'm not going to like not feed my kids or something just to teach them like how to be, you know, they're just going to have to learn from example of my hard work. And like, just got to hope for the best. So I think I wouldn't do it, what Jeff Goldblum is doing.
It was an interesting photo, too, because it's him laying in bed reading his 2 grandkids a book.
I saw the photo.
And I'm just like, okay, yeah, I mean,
It's
I get it.
eye-catching, I suppose.
I get it in a lot of ways, right? You want your kids to fulfill their own dreams, make their own legacy, like do their own thing, find their own path. Totally get it. But from just like a survivalist perspective, like, and with all the unknowns that are currently floating around out there, it feels crazy to me not to want to give your kids and your grandkids as much of an advantage as you possibly can.
I would assume there's some sort of safety net in place.
I bet
like,
there is.
I'm not going to give them this $40 million, but I'll give them
Like
this
they
other
already
35.
have this trust fund that's
like
they've gotten since they were 18 that they could keep. Yeah.
I wonder, but I mean, as Jeff Goldblum said, life finds a way. You know, like they will. If they have to figure it out, they will.
It's true. Yeah. I think survival is the mother of ingenuity or some quote like that.
Mother of invention?
Mother of invention. Something like that. Like, I believe that.
I think it was
true.
Warren Buffett who said about this topic, not Jeff Goldblum specifically, but like he wants to leave behind enough money so his kids can do anything, but not so they can do nothing. Like,
Oh, yeah. I see the distinction.
yeah. So like, sure, you want to live in Portugal and paint, like great, but like I'm not going to give you enough money that you can just like
Never paint again.
never paint again and just get drunk forever and just I don't know. But I don't know. If someone's totally fine, you could get a hut in, you know, Nicaragua and just get drunk forever, probably on like 200 grand if you want, you know. So depends what you define as nothing. But yeah, I don't know. It's commendable. I mean, I don't know. I don't know his life. I don't know his kids. Maybe they're already successful
suck.
also. Like they're adult. He's a grandfather. So his children are adults. They're fully functioning. It's like,
I mean,
maybe.
We're all just getting by. Like, let's be real. Fully functioning adults are just regular kids. They're just regular people.
I feel like you and I are pretty fully functioning.
Yeah, sure. But
If
like,
Jeff Goldblum was...
that doesn't mean we've figured everything there is to figure out.
Sure, but if my father was Jeff Goldblum, he said, I'm not giving you any money when I die, I'd say, okay, I'm going to just keep it. That's not like, doesn't mean I'm homeless or suddenly struggling. I'm still living my same exact life I've been living, you know? So like maybe his kids are also just don't need it.
Perhaps, yeah.
And maybe they have jobs and they're
maybe it's
doing
completely
fine.
fabricated to begin with. I don't know, but it just is it was an interesting idea. Like,
it's an interesting idea. And what's he going to do with this money? Give it to somebody else or just splurge it?
That's what I was
ride it
curious
out?
too. Like, what are you donating it to?
Right.
I would wonder. What? Like, do you just really want a Jeff Goldblum library? Because that feels a little self-indulgent.
That's worse than giving it to your kids.
It's worse than giving it to your kids.
He's like, I won't be giving it to my kids. I will be making a gold statue of myself that is going to be in the middle of the poorest part of town.
Right. But, I mean, if he's like, I don't know, I'm going to try to cure maternal fatalities in this country and make it safer to give birth to babies, I'd be like, yeah,
Full
donate
circle.
that $40 million, baby.
Or like
Let's get some midwives for
pay some
everybody.
tuition for some kids to learn piano.
Not as important.
Yeah, probably you're right.
But yeah, sure. Help the kids. That's always good. I can't be mad at that.
But I think we'll be rich. When
We are rich.
we are rich.
Right
And
now,
we'll
I'm
con-
rich.
We'll continue to be rich. And so our children will be somewhat privileged. And what do? You can't pretend you're poor so that they learn like lessons of poor people. But you can work hard, be a good person, like show initiative, show proactivity so that they just absorb and learn by your example. Like that's all you got to do to like, that's giving a kid more than money. Oh, you're very clever. Like the best thing you can leave behind is, an example of work ethic and being a good person, a well-lived life.
I guess so. It's true.
So even if we leave behind $1 billion for our kids, more importantly, we'll have showed them how to work hard and be good people.
And watch a lot of TV.
And how to watch a lot of TV. And how to dissect and how to appreciate a
fucking
bow when it happens.
Influence the algorithms.
Yeah.